Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I think we are live. I think it's working. And today, of course, is your next day thoughts, where we go through what happened against Manchester City in the last game and talk about it. Should we stick with a 3-5-2? Is there still a bit of me that's like maybe the 3-5-2 still won't work? Because everyone loves to talk when a player has a player, right? They have a great 45-minute performance, right? And they always go, well, you can't say they're a great player if they only have a good 45 minutes. What if the formation only worked because they didn't know we were going to play it? That's why I want to see it more. I still want to see it more, by the way, but I want to see if it actually is as good as what we think it is. Is it actually going to work for us? Or is it going to become just like the 4-3-3, where teams will then figure us out and then Bogle and Goodmanson will become anonymous, and basically we won't be able to get into our attacks and be able to play, and every time we go long, um, there will be times, the games when we do go long, they'll have a way to stop us from doing that. Now, there is a bit of me that's like, I like what Fark is doing, right? And I know people are pissed off saying that, oh, you need to play 3-5-2. We need to always play 3-5-2. Blah blah blah. You got to play this formation. There is a bit of me that's like, I don't think that's true, and I think we need to be playing not just one formation, but different formations. Because if we go into a game with the 3-5-2 week after week after week, in my opinion, what happens when we get found out? What happens when we get found out with that? And then they stop us from going long, and every time we go long, they stop us. And when we try and go out to the wings, to your fullbacks, wing backs, in Bogle and Goodmanton, they stop that as well. There is a bit of me that's like looking at it and being like, okay, if we can be good tactically and Fark can adapt and be proactive with his substitutions, which is what he was in this game, which I want to give him credit for. I want to give him credit for his proactiveness in this game, in his substitutions. I know a lot of people are saying, well, the 3-5-2, we've been saying it for a while, but as I've already said, Fuck does not give a shit what you think as fans. He's not going to, like, he has every manager has different formations, different systems. It's about using them at the right time. We agree that Fuck has not been proactive with his substitutions and all that, but let's just say we go into a game with the 3-5-2 and it's not working. I want to see him then adapt to the 4-3-3 or to the 4-2-3-1. I want to see him be able to adapt the formation to who we're playing, the opposition, the way they play. Against Man City, you could say he probably got it wrong in the first half, but he adapted. That's what we've been asking for a Fark, remember? Like, people that are mad, this is what we've been asking for. We've been asking for a manager with Daniel Fark to adapt his formation in games and not just keep doing the same thing over and over again when it's not working. We've also been asked him to be more proactive with his substitutions. He was in this game. Halftime, DCL on. Halftime, who else came? BL came on. You know, proactiveness with his substitutions, which is what we want. That's what we wanted to see from Daniel Fark, and that's been probably his biggest issue at Leeds United in the last, since he's arrived. Basically, that's been the issue. It has been his proactiveness in his substitutions that he's not been, he's not done that. He's waited till the 70th minute like every game, it feels like. But let's get into it and get into what Daniel Fark had to say after the game, because it's a heartbreaking loss in a game where we really deserved at least a point. You could say we actually probably deserved the win, and probably we were the better team. This is what we went. This is what we went from. Fark tactical change and subs, played an immensely better second half compared to the first. Yeah, I agree. Like, the second half, we look so much better. But like, this is what we've asked for. As I said, this is what we've been asking for from Daniel Fark. Oh my god, from Daniel Fark. It's about who we're playing. You got to look at how the team we're playing and how they're going to line up. And against Man City, you could probably say the 5-back or the 3-back, however you want to say, 3-5-2, 5-3-2. That was probably the right formation to go against Man City. So maybe there's a thing of Fark, and maybe when we play the top teams like your Man Cities. Next up, we got Chelsea, who are second in the league right now. When we're versing these top teams, maybe the 3-5-2 works. But then when we go against like a West Ham or a Wolves or a Burnley, you could say actually the Burnley didn't work, but you know what I mean. Maybe there's different formations for different games. I like what we did in the second half. I really like what we did in the second half. The plan was try and get it long into DCL and Metcha, try and flick it on for, if you watch actually a couple of times, it's Bogle on the outside where we've hit it like towards the wing more, and then DCL's tried to flick it onto Bogle. I think that was a very good strategy, and it's not just the two of them. You have Goodmanson and Bogle, and yeah, I think it really worked in this game against Man City. So much so that they had to fake an injury and have a tactical meeting, which should be a fine. I'm not going to lie, really, that should be a fine. You're faking an injury. That's not part of the spirit of the game. In my opinion, you could honestly say that should be a fine. You know, um, but I know it's not against the rules, but fucking, it's stupid that they can just dive and like fake injuries so they can have a meeting like on the side. The fourth official should have done something. The fourth official should have said, "Hey, no, go away." Like tell the players you're not allowed to do that. Like one player can go over. Like when that kind of stuff happens, one player can go over to the manager, not the entire team. You can see what they're doing because when they did that, you can see what they're doing. Isn't it obvious? It shouldn't be allowed. Do you see us getting points in the next two? Oh, what, Chelsea, Liverpool? I'm actually, since the start of the season, I felt like we would beat Chelsea for some reason. Since the season started, when I looked at our fixture against Chelsea at Ellen Road, I was like, we're winning this game. It just feels like that game where the crowd's going to be up for it. It's Chelsea, and we're just going to be a very, it's going to be a very like physical game, I think, and I think we're going to win it. Like I have a feeling we actually might win that game. Liverpool right now, if they keep slot, I'm very confident that we could win that game. But again, it's about how we tactically go into the game. Fark goes into the game. Are we going to go back to the 4-3-3? Are we going to play the 5-3-2? And it depends again on how they're going to play. And I hope that even if we do play the 4-3-3, I'm not going to be pissed off like a lot of people will be straight away. I'm going to wait and see how the game goes before I get pissed off. I'm not going to be like an hour before kickoff seeing the lineup and being like pissed off that we've gone with the 4-3-3 because it depends on who we're playing. As I said, how they play. But I think the squad is more built for the 3-5-2 or the 5-3-2. I think it's more built for that because of the we bought the midfielders and stuff. We didn't really buy any attackers. We should have bought a couple of more wingers. Again, we go back to the board on that. So we're probably more built for the 3-5-2. And I look at that performance with the 3-5-2, and you got players who didn't even play who will be back. I know Stack will be back. I don't even, will Stack be back for this game? I'm not even quite sure if he'll be back for the Chelsea game. Isn't it what is it? Isn't a concussion like a 7-day turnaround or something? You have to wait 7 days. So he probably won't be available for Chelsea either, I don't think. Or is it one game? No, it's yeah, anyway. And then you got Longstaff, who when he comes back, but even though like those two aren't available, you got players who have stepped up in this game. I think someone who went very under the radar is Gruev. I thought he was exceptional. I thought he was amazing. I thought he was good in the first half. Like in the first half, one of the positives I had was Gruev. Like I think it was like Gruev and Tanaka in that first half, which I said they're the only players that could leave the pitch with their heads held high at the end of that first half, in my opinion. But even the second half, I thought he was great again. I thought his link-up play was good. I thought his defensive work was good. And I just think he doesn't really get the credit. Gruev doesn't really get the credit. I just thought he was very good. And probably warrants, if we do play the 3-5-2, which, as I said, I think we should in this next game against Chelsea, just to see how it does go. And then, if it's not working, you change it. But if we do go with the 3-5-2, which I think we should do against Chelsea, I would start Gruev again. I think he's earned his spot in the team, even if Stack is back, but I'm not quite sure. I don't think he is. But yeah, anyway, Daniel Fark went into after the game and talked about it. Talked about the game. Let's see what he had to say. We played one of the best sides in the world, which is true. If you have such a start after our recent results, it does something to the lads. You have to win set pieces here to succeed. I think we need to be better at defending set pieces. So I think that's something we have to really talk about. The set pieces defensively, we've been very poor. We've been very poor for a team who's built basically to be good at set pieces defensively and in attack by buying a bunch of tall players, tall physical players. We're conceding a lot of set pieces for a team that bought a bunch of those players. Conceding from a corner, not happy with our pressing execution in the first half, which I agree with. I agree with that. I think in that first half, a lot of the time it was Tanaka who was pressing. Like Tanaka would just take it upon himself to be the one man that would actually press the centre backs. Sometimes he was ahead of Metcha. Now that might have been a tactical thing. That might have been a thing where he got told to do that, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it was like Tanaka would get in front of Metcha a lot. Not saying Metcha was bad because I think he actually played well, but it's one of those things about you don't know if it's a tactical thing that Fark said or whatever. But yeah, I do think the first goal really hurt as well. I mean, the tracking back for the first goal from Nonto. I mean, it's criminal in the first minute of the game. It's criminal in the first minute of the game that you don't track back. That's why I would have started Aronson on the left, his defensive ability, over Nonto. But yeah, Daniel Vartan, open game in the last minutes. Either team can win it. Yep, Foden with the decision, the decisive moment. Heartbreak for my players. But they should take lots of pride for the second half, which, yep, they deserve it. Came here for points. So overall emotional is disappointment. should take belief from this display still. Which, yeah, we've taken a lot of confidence. For me, I'm very confident going into the Chelsea and Liverpool game, our next two games, after off the back of that performance. And the fact that we actually play midweek, it's one of those things about we don't have to, dwell on this result. We don't have to be worried about this result for so long, because we play midweek. It's not like we have to wait a whole week for us to play again. So yeah, I feel like that would take a lot of confidence going into Chelsea. Since it's a quick turnaround, you could see some changes in the lineup. Maybe if we do go with the 3-5-2, maybe you see James starting at the winger back. Because I look at the players that we have, and I'm not gonna lie. If we do play the 3-5-2, there's one player who I don't think fits the system, and that's Nonto. I don't think he can play wing back because I don't think he's good enough defensively. And if he's gonna play as the center forward, basically, you could call in the front two. I don't think he plays either there either, because you got DCL, Metcha, you got Okafor, DJ who can play there. You got, then you got like Piro. So I genuinely don't know if Nonto gets many minutes if we do play the 3-5-2. So there is that little bit of me. Of course, also because of PSR, because of how little we actually paid for him. Maybe we sell in Jan and then that helps us be able to spend some money in January. That's a massive thing. Because we do need to spend money. Maybe that's one of those. He's a sellable asset that, can help with PSR so we can actually spend money. Depending if Fox learned from this, doesn't sound like he's too keen on the. I heard what Fox said in the press conference. We'll get into what he said into the press conference, after the game. In the after the game presser. But he did say something about it's not all on the formation, which is kind of something that I do agree with. Like, it's something that I kind of do agree with, that it's not just the formation. Like, it's something that maybe depend. He basically, I think he got asked something. We'll get into it. He got asked something about the formation, about, oh, it's the 3-5-2 this amazing, and he said, we'll get into it. Daniel Fark said that we did not have the passing angles in the first half to beat the City press. We wanted to defend their channel runs. The big chances they had were from channel runs. Wanted to defend this better with different players in these positions. Yeah, I mean, that first half, we just couldn't get out of our own end. Let's be real. We couldn't get out of our own end. And that's what I like about Fark in this game. We couldn't get out of our own end. We were getting pinned back. We didn't have any chances. The times that we tried to do something was just a long ball over the DJ, trying to find him in behind. It wasn't working. And then second half, Fark changes it. That's what I want to see, the proactiveness of Daniel Fark. Daniel Fark asked how he felt when the newly changed left flank was cut open inside the first 60 seconds. I can not speak publicly because I would be banned for swearing. You ask yourself, what are we doing? If we dwell under it, you have no chance. Keep going, show resilience. Which, yeah, when we did make that change, I was fine with the change. Like, I was fine with James Justin coming in, because I think 1v1 defending, he's better than Goodmanson. I think that's something that he's better at than Goodmanson. Nonto, as I said, I don't think was the right choice. As I said, I don't think he's good enough defensively. Yeah, I don't think he's good enough defensively. Daniel Falkland spoke on Donnarumma going down while Guardiola had a team talk. Everyone knows why he went down. It's the elephant in the room. It was obvious. You can speak about it. Yeah, I mean, he then went on to talk about a bit more. He said it's within the rules. He asked the fourth official, do you want to do something? Our hands are tied. Apparently, he said, our hands are tied. Fuck off. Can't do anything. If we don't educate players in football what to do in fair play, bend the rules to your advantage, fake injuries for team talks, it's nothing I like. Which is true. I don't like that. Like, I genuinely don't like that. I don't think it's good for the game when players are just diving, faking injuries to get a team talk. As I said, if one player goes over to the manager and one player talks to the manager, I am fine with that. Like, one player goes over and the manager gives him instructions. That's fine. But when you see the entire team in a huddle, basically, like, they call it a timeout, basically, like, it's mental. It's mental that that's allowed. It's mental that the fourth official didn't go over and say, hey, the players have to get back on the pitch. You know what I mean? It's just so annoying that they are allowed to do that. But I can guarantee you, if it was the other way around, the media would be quickly on us. They would be quickly on us. Everyone would be like, look what they did. They tell you. They faked injury and they're having a team talk. If that was Leeds United, it'll be the complete opposite way around. Now, performance-wise, that's all Daniel had to say after the game, by the way. But yeah, performance-wise, very happy with that second half, and thought we played a lot better in that second half. As I said, going to this 3-5-2 basically means we're going to have more players to come off the bench. You're going to have Okafor on the bench. You're going to have a Dan James off the bench. As I said, I don't know where he plays, but even like late on in games, you have a Nonto off the bench. You got Aronson, who probably plays in the centre mid role, I guess, in this formation when he comes on, and he's, for me, Aronson's the type of player that I think is better off the bench. Like I think he's the type of player that you can bring on for the final 10 minutes in games if we need a goal. You know, we need a goal, we need something. He causes a bit of chaos. He's not that player. You know, I actually like Aronson. I think he could do a good job as a bench option in the Premier League, and I've always said that. I've always said I don't know if he's a starter, but based off performances, he's earned his start in the last couple of games. But like being that player that comes off the bench and causes them trouble, and I think that's a good role for him to have at this club and good role to have for him. As I said, performance-wise, I like the performance from Tanaka. I like the performance from Gruev. I think that will go very under the radar of how good Gruev actually was in this game, because he's the type of player that won't get the credit from the Leeds fans because for some reason people don't like him. I actually have no idea why people don't like Gruev. I don't know. Like, he's never put a foot wrong. This is the wild thing. He's one of those players that, you know, you get those certain players at the club that you never understand why they don't get like praise, or they just, you know, they seem to get hated more than others. It's weird because Gruev, I don't think he's ever put a foot wrong for Leeds United when he has played. Never put a foot wrong. Besides maybe the Arsenal game, but the whole team was shit. But besides that, every game he's played for us in the Premier League, you know, when he has played, I think, you know, or in the Championship, he never put a foot wrong. Like, I think he's very criticized too much. I don't think he's as bad as people say. I thought his set pieces, I do want to talk about his set pieces. I thought his set pieces were very good. I thought his corners were like pinpoint, and his free kicks were pinpoint, you know. If BL was better at headering the ball, maybe we score from that free kick that he whips in the second half. You know, so, some of the corners that he took were very good corners. Just, you had Haaland in the box winning headers, so, you know, Haaland would header it away or someone else would header it away. And it's just one of those things where I thought Gruev actually played very well. His stats in this game where he made 2 key passes. He had 5 crosses, which 2 of them were accurate. Like, the thing is with that accurate crosses, the ones that weren't accurate were the ones that were like good. They were good set pieces, like they were good corners, they were good free kicks, or the ball would be a good ball. You know, the ones that they called not accurate. They were good balls. It was just like just past, you know, just past the player, just too much on it. Like they weren't bad. Yeah, smash the like and subscribe, everyone. And yeah, I thought he had that. He also had accurate passing. He was 95% with 38 out of 40 passes accurate. Passes in the opposition half, he had 15 and 11 of them were accurate with 73%. He had passes in his own half, 24 out of 25, 96%. Long balls, 2 out of 2, 100% accuracy. He had 56 touches, 2 unsuccessful dribbles. He had 1 dribble which wasn't successful. Oh, unsuccessful touches. That's what that confused me. Yeah, 2 unsuccessful touches, 1 dribble that wasn't successful. He lost the ball 8 times, won 1 out of 4 tackles, 1 interception, 1 block shot, 5 recoveries, 4 ground drills, 1 out of 10, and then 0 aerial drills, 1. He got dribble passed only once in this game, and 4 fouls. I thought performance-wise he was very good. Like, I really think Gruev actually played well. Other players that I thought played well, like Tanaka, I thought was very good. I actually want to say what his stats were because I thought he was actually really good. You know, he had 2 crosses, none of them were accurate. He had 72% pass accuracy, 6 out of 10 in his own half, in the opposition half, sorry, 60%. In his own half, it was 67% with 10 out of 15. 40 touches, 2 unsuccessful touches, 0 dribble attempts, lost the ball 12 times, won 3 out of 5 tackles, 1 interception, 2 clearances. He had 5 recoveries, 5 out of 9 ground drills, 1, 2 out of 3 aerial drills, 1. He got dribble pass 3 times, 1 foul. Basically, the dribble pass for Tanaka, I'm not gonna be like looking at that at all because a lot of the time it was Tanaka sprinting forward at the, you know, pressing from the front. So a couple of those maybe came from that, pressing from the front and getting beat. So I'm not gonna have a go at him for that at all. But performance-wise, I thought we were really good. Like, you look at the second half and the players that came on, like DCL, I thought was good when he came on. You know, I still don't think he's an amazing player, and I still don't, you know, I don't rate him. Like, I still don't rate him. You know, the goal that he did score, I was laughing because His touch is very poor, by the way. He tries to turn, his touches are very poor, and then the opposition is just like, here, have a goal. He basically just passed it back to him, and then he just taps it in. It was wild. It was so, oh, it was funny. But no, he had a good game. Like, I still don't think he's amazing, but I'm gonna give him credit because he played well. You know, it's one of those things. He scored 1 goal with an XG of 0.13, one shot, 15 touches, 2 unsuccessful touches, 1 dribble, which was successful, was fouled 3 times, won a penalty, only lost the ball 6 times, uh, 1 out of 4 accurate passes, which they're all probably like long balls over the top trying to flick, win headers and like knock them down. He had 1 recovery. He won 4 out of his 5 ground duels. He had 2 out of 9 aerial duels. Gave away 1 foul, and yeah. But like, I look at this, right, and everyone talks about how amazing he is in the air, right? Everyone talks about how amazing he is in the air. He won a 2 out of 9 aerial duels. Is he that amazing in the air? Is he though? He won 2 out of 9 aerial duels, and all I've heard people say is, "Oh yeah, we let's go long, and he's amazing in the air." He's not bad, like he's a good player in the air, but is he as good as people think he is in the air when you win 2 out of 9? I mean, I know it's against Man City, and we have to probably see it more, but I thought it worked. I thought it worked very well with the 2 strikers. Your striker scored again. Yeah, I think they both worked well together because you had them running. You had like Mecha basically running off DCL. And I think that was a very good strategy. Like, you have Mecha basically running off him. I think Mecha runs the channels very well. And I think I even saw that in the first half. Like, even in the first half when we barely had any opportunities, barely had the ball, barely had like a chance. I think Mecha's like him running the channels and getting in behind. I think he's very good at. I think in that game, I thought he was still very good at that in the first half. He was one of those players that, like, if we get it through him, maybe he can get through and be 1-on-1. I mean, his penalty isn't a bad penalty, Matches. It's a good penalty. You're against one of the best keepers, if not the best keeper in the world, and one of the best, if not the best keeper in the world at saving penalties. And, you know, in those situations, he saves it, but it goes straight back into, straight back into him, and he just taps it in. You know, it was a good penalty, really. It wasn't bad. He tried to hit it to the corner that he always hits it, because they showed a graphic before he took the penalty, his last 5 penalties, and he had 1 to the left, 1 in the middle, and then all the rest were straight in that right corner. You know, the goal he scored against Everton, right in that corner. And he tried to put it in that corner again, and it was just a good save from Donnarumma. And then it just goes back into him, and he taps it in. I am a bit worried about this of like, is he gonna go the opposite way one time, or is he just gonna keep going that one side for the penalties when it works? You know, it is that worry. But no, I think he's good. I think his penalties are actually good. You know, we have a good penalty taker with him. I think his finishing been very good this season as well. You know, he's played minimal minutes this season, you would say. Not that many minutes. I'll actually say how many minutes he's actually played this season. I want to say it, Lucas. I want to see how many minutes he's actually played this season. But it's not that much. So he's had 13 appearances, 4 starts. He's had 33 minutes per game. So only 33 minutes per game. Total minutes of 432 minutes. He has 4 goals. So he scored basically almost a goal every... So if he scores another goal in the next 70 minutes, like in the next game, if he scores a goal in the next 70 minutes, he's basically averaging a goal every 100 minutes, which is amazing. You know, 4 starts, 4 goals. That's a good record to have. He's got an XG of 3.97, so he's basically scored 4 goals when he should have scored 4 goals. So he's basically in the good, you know, where he should be, basically, based off that. He's as it says here, his scoring frequency is every 108 minutes. And yeah, I think his finishing is very good, and he's been very good for us. I think he could actually get 10 to 15 goals this season. I genuinely think he's got the ability to do that. You know, we need that goal scorer. You know, the first season in the Premier, we had Bamford with 17. You know, even the relegation season, we had Rodrigo, who got 12. So we've always had a striker, even when we did get relegated, you need a striker that could score goals. You know, you need a striker who could score 10+ goals. And for me, that's Lucas Mecha this season. If anyone's going to score 10+ goals this season, it's going to be Lucas Mecha. As I said, when you play the 3-5-2, the formation, you're probably going to have the Rodon, Strauch, and Biol. Now, this is another thing I did want to talk about. I forgot about I was going to talk about this. With this formation, the 3-5-2, do we have the depth to play it? I know everyone's crying out because it worked in the 45 minutes against Man City, and I've already talked about how, will it really work all the time, or is it something where once we get found out again, it's going to be another 4-3-3 situation where it's just not going to work? But the other thing is, do we have the depth? do we have the depth if BL gets injured, if Rodon gets injured? We don't have the depth, in my opinion. So it is one of those things that is worrying. We don't have that. So maybe in January, maybe maybe we don't buy wingers. Maybe that's a good strategy. Maybe we don't buy wingers in January at all. Maybe we don't try and strengthen the attack. Maybe we get see if we can get a striker. But the thing is, we've got 2 threes already. I was say we try and get a striker on the cheap and try and get a cheap striker who could be like the bench option. Because I think we should sell Pirro because I just don't think he's a Premier League player. As I said, maybe we sell Nonso because of PSR because that will help us be able to improve the squad. Like, it's nothing against Nonto. It's just the thing of do we want to improve the squad as a whole? You're probably gonna have to sell players like that with the PSR. So you're probably gonna have to sell players like that to improve the squad as a whole. So that's a possibility. When I look at it, I'm like, we're probably gonna need another striker. Or do we just recall Joffy? To be honest, fuck it. Do we just recall Joffy as the backup as another option off the bench, a striker option off the bench? Because at the moment I know we got Mecha, DCL, and Okafor, who are the 3 at the moment that work. We don't have Dan James to work. Or would you rather play Dan James as the wing back? In games, if we want to be more attacking with the wing backs. So yeah, it is one of the things about maybe we do just bring Joffy back because he's firing at a hole. Maybe you just bring him back from his loan, and have him as a bench option, in the system that we have, because we're gonna need an improvement. We're gonna need a buy depth in January, and yeah, it just feels like we're gonna need to buy depth in January right now. And of course, I would love us to improve the starting team. And if we do, then the players who are starting will then become the depth. So that's what I kind of mean. We do need depth in this squad. And especially with the 3-5-2, we're going to need depth. The midfield's fine. The midfield's fine. It's great in the 3-5-2. Because, the midfielders we got is Gruev, Ampu, Tanaka, Stack, Longstaff. We're fine in that department. But it's maybe we need that extra striker because if Mecha gets injured, or DCL gets injured, and then you got Okafor probably starting, but then who do you have next? It's one of those. Who else? What else do you have? You probably have centre back. We probably need another centre back. Bornell is basically a unicorn. He's never fit. I don't think we're ever going to see him. We got Rodon, Strauch, BL, and that's about it. So we do need that next option. We do need that other option where if there's an injury, we're able to still play that formation. So it is one of those things about we do need another centre back in Jan. If we're going to play the 3-5-2, we're going to need another centre back. So yeah, basically that's all I wanted to talk about. Make sure you like the video, like the stream, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to go, and probably tomorrow will probably be Premier League predictions, I think. What's today? Because we play on the well, for me on Thursday, which is the 4th, I think. Let me just check and make sure. Let me just double check. We play on the 7:15 a.m. on the 4th. Okay. Oh, 7:15 a.m. That's good. I can actually have a sleep. Yeah. So tomorrow will probably be Premier League predictions, and then the next day will be the preview. So thank you for watching the stream. I'm gonna head out. Make sure you like, subscribe on your way out. And I'll catch you guys all in